What's up, guys? It's good to have you back. I've talked about this before, but only in bits and pieces. Doing my best, gonna stay on track this time. When it comes to the creative process of things, it doesn't happen how most people think it happens. Most people think you have an idea and then you write that idea out and bam, there you go. That's not how it happens. The creative process is a long process. Sometimes it takes years for something to come together. And case in point, I'm going to use the ravaging as an example for all this. I've had it in mind that I want to make a movie for like a long time, like 12 years now. See, I wrote a book. I ended up getting that book published in 2018. And all that time I was writing the book, I was making plans to make a movie of it in Second Life. Just the story ended up being so grand that I couldn't accomplish it in Second Life. So I just let it sit, my Second Life account. I just let it sit with all of its assets, all of its animation assets and stuff like that. And then I found Crossout in 2019. And with its engine physics, I saw something that I could work with. Similar style, building style with Second Life, drag and drop. So I played Crossout for the first 6 months without the ability to record anything. I just had a crap top. I was milled around writing a small little story that had to do with Crossout. And I started, once I got the ability to record 6 months into playing Crossout, that's what I did. I started recording all over the place, recording everything I could inside of Crossout. I started piecing together edits and releasing them little by little over time on YouTube. I think I came up with about 30 minutes of stuff that I slowly released on YouTube. So I was about a year into all of this, releasing stuff on YouTube bit by bit, piecemealing it out. And I got really discouraged with it because I wasn't getting the feedback I required for a project like this. I'm not faulting the community for anything. We're all just a bunch of normal people. People trying to help out and be critical of things when we can, as best we can. So I appreciate all the feedback that I did get to that point, but I got discouraged. And I started talking to, I only know him by his in-game name as Zombie Lives Matter. And then the in-game name of Iron Dog and in-game name of Oh Hello, and they started encouraging me to keep on going. At this point, all I had was these Crossout videos with very little story, because I couldn't follow the Crossout lore very well. I'm sorry, but it's a little sporadic and broken, and even kind of contradicts itself here and there. That's when I started really thinking hard about what kind of story I could tell with these videos. And, Crossout has its own inspirations, of course. The developers of Crossout have their own inspirations. To me, I see a lot of Stephen King inspired work in Crossout, from Maximum Overdrive to Duel's not Stephen King, that's Steven Spielberg. Anyway, the movie It, with giant spiders, stuff like that. And I'm not a huge Stephen King fan. I don't know all of his works, but I know several of them. There's a recurring theme in a lot of his books, like Pet Sematary, Christine. Sometimes they come back. And that theme is that if you don't pay attention to your kids, or if you neglect your kids, something bad can happen to them. And most notably, if you neglect your kids, they could turn out to be pretty evil fucks. Pardon my language. They could turn out to be pretty evil people. And so I took that story beat from Stephen King and I melded it into Crossout. You'll see in the first part of the movie, it's not really anything to do with Stephen King, because that was the first year of me creating. Part 2 is literal reference to Stephen King and how he likes to do his part 2s, especially with It. and Pet Cemetery, where the kid ends up dying because the father wasn't paying attention, where, you know, it's all metaphorical for something that can happen in real life. If you're not paying attention to your kids, more malevolent forces can twist their minds and turn them into things that you had no idea they were capable of being. Terrible things. I took that story beat, put it into cross out, and came up with the second 15-minute part of the cartoon. Thankfully, the first part didn't need really any revision. I had to drop in the spider here and there. You'll see inserts of the spider and how it doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the cartoon. That was done in pickups and post-production. And all in all, it took 2 years to fully make this 30-minute cartoon that I call The Ravaging. So the creative process for these things is really freaking slow. You guys might start seeing new stuff pop up on my channel over the next year or so having to do with another fan fiction of mine. I might take off with that. I might drop it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for taking a few minutes to listen about the creative process. I really appreciate it. If you guys are new here, I hope I've earned your subscription. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons for the new peoples. And for the old ones, thank you so much. We'll see you guys around.